Hello and welcome to the PMQ Live update for April 2nd. This is actually part 2 of Mike Rasmussen. It's going to be a series, and we're going to probably try to be doing all of these around 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, but we're going to be kind of following up with more topics on, the tax reliefs and all these systems that you can do to help and benefit your business. So today we're going to be talking about, I believe, unemployment filing and some of those other things, but we're also going to be answering questions from yesterday that we weren't able to get to. Mike stayed up all night long and did the research for us, so we don't have to. So Mike, why don't you go ahead and for the newcomers, why don't you go ahead and just kind of tell me or, introduce yourself and tell us what we're going to be talking about today.
So the whole purpose of this, welcome. My name is Mike Rasmussen. I'm a CPA. And again, based on yesterday, what I did is I've been looking through all the internet, all the sites out there, and it's so confusing on what to do next. For example, tomorrow is the launch of the Paycheck Protection Program, which we went over yesterday. What does that mean to you? What to do? And so we've created a site called mycovidcpa.com, which basically is a place to store all that. And I'll show that to you. So what I'm doing every 24 hours is actually pulling together what I listen to seminars and see people of how to react to it. In addition, there's a way to actually send me a link or respond to me, and I'll actually go through with you on how to do it. So with the confusion of the internet, you have a lot of scams out there, a lot of programs, a lot of people trying to get your attention. And the whole point of this right here is to pull you together and to give you the most spoon feed you and then a place to go after the seminar. And the way I left it yesterday was basically, please don't rely on your financial advisor and take control of the situation and go dig in and start doing some reading while you might be figuring out what you're going to do with your business.
All right, and these are, it's actually a free enrollment at mycovidcpa.com. So this is a free benefit for anybody. And it takes 20 seconds to sign up, and there's a place to ask questions. But if you don't need questions, it's got everywhere you need to go, links to forms, applications, and so on, right? It's kind of a one-stop shop for everything you need.
That's correct, right.
All right, well, why don't you go ahead and take it away with today's topic. What are we talking about today?
So what I want to do is I want to go through the daily briefing, which is basically what so I'm going to start sharing my screen so you can see exactly what I'll show you here. And let me do that real quick.
Oh, and while he's doing that, I did want to let everybody know we are fielding questions again. If you're in the webinar or if you are just watching through Facebook Live, go ahead and feel free to ask questions about what we're talking about today. Pretty much, it's going to be an important topic, getting that unemployment filed for your employees and so on.
Okay. So the first one I want to show you is the daily briefing that I do. So you can see that right now?
Nope. Got to share again. There. Share it one more time.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share the Paycheck Protection. So what this is for everybody we went through and there was and you can actually see we did a calculator of how to actually do the loan for this Paycheck Protection Program, which begins tomorrow with lenders. So this is an Excel sheet that we're still in process on, but it'll help you walk through what payroll costs are, what is qualified, and then what the potential loan would be. Then a lot of people from yesterday, the questions were, what was the loan forgiveness going to be? So, and what does that include? So there were some questions on, does payroll include like wage employees that have been hired right now, and when do I include them in there? That's what this process would do. And as you can see, there is payroll costs, earnings. It really goes through a calculation. And I want to help everybody that there's a term called a full-time equivalent. And a full-time equivalent is when you look at your employees of your business, you're looking at, even though they were there today and possibly gone together, there is a person that's making so much, and that's called a full-time equivalent, even though that person may be replaced up until June 30. So what's happening is with this Paycheck Protection Program, it is just one tool for you to go in and assess your business. One of the questions yesterday was does the $10,000 emergency disaster loan apply to, or can you do both? what happens is that loan, that first $10,000 that we talked about yesterday, is basically, if you get this paycheck participation loan here, you're basically going to have to reduce the amount that you get eventually from the loan that you would get tomorrow and as you apply for. The other thing is that you can apply for this Paychecks Protection Program all the way up until June 30. So although I'm saying tomorrow's the launch date, what's truly going to happen, and what I was on with the seminars, is that banks are just really ready to accept loans, but there's more than likely you need to get your accountant and really dig into, do an Excel spreadsheet like this and do it yourself and look at your numbers and then fill out the application that is on the mycovidcpa.com. And then you can actually take it into your bank as almost like a preliminary. So I'll kind of stop right there, Brian.
Well, I was just going to say that you were mentioning stuff we were talking about yesterday, and if somebody didn't join us yesterday, you can find these still on the PMQ Facebook page, and we're going to be putting them up on Pizza TV YouTube channel as well. So
that's right.
Just to let people know that if they did miss an episode or some information that they thought might be pertinent, you can find it all and watch it. You can binge watch it over the weekend.
Right. All right. So if you could actually pull up where you use your login on myCOVIDCPA, and then I'll see your screen if that's okay.
All right. Yeah, I'm here. 1 second. And get the share screen. So there we go. So this is, I already signed in. Took me 20 seconds. So I've looked through it. So I just hit resume course.
Right. Right. So here's the, when we talk about the unemployment, if you go over to the left there, you're going to see unemployment claims.
Oh, so that's a new channel too. Nice.
That's right. So that's a new button today. So if you open that up and go ahead and click on it, and I'm doing this so that you're just like any operator out there, they can see how easy it is to do. Go ahead and click on the top link while I'm explaining. So you're saying, well, what happens when should I keep my employees on or not? That's a total separate question on deciding, and it should be used in exactly with what I'm showing you right here. So what I found out here is by the U.S. Department of Labor is a by state. So anybody on here, it talks to you about what qualifies for unemployment, and you can pick select the state down there, right in the middle. There you go, and go see right in the middle. There you go. Pick your state. Go ahead and pick Mississippi. And what this is doing, and go do the search right there, it's going to take you to the state guidelines. So what is happening is every state now is considering adding on the $600 per week that is passed, but they have to adopt the Fed program. So if you can imagine that. So here, what you need to do is actually go here and again, be proactive with your accountant or CPA, pull up what these rules are, briefly read them, and then figure out if your state has adopted, and then figure out if they actually adopt to the federal program, which is if you adopt to the state program, you can add on another $600 per week. Do you see how it's crazy kind of how this is working and confusing? So suggestion, California does accept the federal program. So when you jump on there, you can see right here, where it is right there, that first link, edd.california.gov unemployment. If you're a California pizzeria, you can actually go there, and I know that they do adopt the Fed. You can find out the rules and where to apply. I have done this for the state of Arkansas, and in Arkansas, it's very clear that they apply too, and they are backed up incredibly right now with all the unemployment gains. As you heard this morning, there were another 3.2 million that were filed unemployment across the country. So what we're coaching people to do, and what, Brian, I guess that's the other thing, I have many tax clients that I work with right now, and what I'm sharing is what I'm coaching my employers to do, is they go here, I know the state they're in, I'm scouring the site, and then I'm coaching how to get their employees on unemployment. Before I do that, just so you know, is we also are doing this jointly with that Excel sheet with the Paychecks Protection Program. So we want to know how far do you want to dilute your force going forward? Really important. June 30 you can apply for the Paycheck Protection Program. You can apply up to that, and then it's good for 8 weeks after you get approved by that program. So the modification of your employees up until that point, and even after that, up until that point, is how you qualify. So if you say my employee count was 25, but it was way excessive, and I really think I can be lean starting after I get the loan, that's what you shoot for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's very unique for every single state and every single just region. So it just sounds like you got to make sure first off that if it's actually been adopted by the federal government. So, but be proactive, get on the site and get in there to these links and make sure that you've got it all kind of lined up, ready to go, so you can just hit enter, but just make sure it fits what you're trying to do.
That's exactly right. Right. And again, it goes back to my daily briefing there, which is take control of and don't wait for everybody. And it's okay to get different advice. There you go. So it is okay to actually get two different opinions on going through it. I've actually posted an additional one there, the departmentoflabor.gov. That was another site. And again, you can click off of here, and these are all HTTPS. And that's probably another quick one. Don't go to a site when you get ads no, you're okay to go there. Don't go to a site. Yeah. Don't go to a site that doesn't say anything other than HTTPS : So be really careful on clicking through ads. There's just a lot of viruses and scams going out right now. But that's why the only ones that have HTTPS are the ones that I'm going to include there.
The S meaning secure.
That's exactly right. And you'll see the little lock up there in the corner. And I'm sure most of your listeners know this, but that is just be careful when everyone's home surfing the net. Okay. So you can dig as deep as you want in, but this site here was sponsored by the Department of Labor. It's secured, and it's just another little tool that you can go to. Okay. All
right. Well, that sounds pretty good. It sounds like you've kind of got everything, again, one-stop shop and letting people know where to go. What else are we going to talk about today, kind of on the unemployment side of it, kind of the main topics?
So I want to go back. If you can scroll down on the unemployment, you've got to go to the site first, and then you've got to figure out, do a comparison side by side. When you're looking at the unemployment before you lay people off, you need to consider the Paycheck Protection Program in conjunction with laying people off. So if you're going to put people on unemployment now, and the reason why you want to do that is that by looking at your business, what it's going to look like post June 30. I'll use June 30 because that's the date that a lot of these programs, it's the last date that you can apply for this Paycheck Protection Program. So you need to sit and model what your business, what your restaurant did. So I'll give you two examples they just did on the phone or just on the last seminar. One was a high brand, a lot of traffic. I think they were doing $75,000 a month, and they in their situation, it was worth shrinking down basically laying off a few down to where their model was that they felt that they could rehire because they had a very strong brand. The other one was a very weak brand, felt that 25% of the employees they only wanted anyway. And in that case, they would actually go do a couple different loans. They would do the $10,000 and then the emergency $25,000 just right now, which is on the site, and wait for the Paycheck Protection to actually do that June 30. So to reiterate, you may start one process, the EIDL, the 10,000 we talked about. You may then see how the curve is going and interview all of your employees aggressively, come up with your own and come up with other tasks that they could do. So what that means, Brian, is everyone is reassessing their employees for multiple tasks. So they're actually interviewing before they go through the unemployment, and they're interviewing each one and go, what else do you like to do? What are you capable of? Almost like an employee assessment. I'm looking for that form to help employers do this. Make sense?
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then you just kind of got to shuffle some things around to get them, try to get the best amount of money as well as keeping the employees employed. But I do have a couple questions from Derek Tong. He jumped back in again today. Hello, Derek. Thank you for joining us. Mike Donaker, Matthew Porter, Will Grant, thank you guys all for being here. Derek asks, so should we delay our PPP application if we've laid off all of our employees?
No.
Until they've staffed up again.
Yeah. Should you delay? No. What you should do is do your model of what it could look like, just like I explained. If you think your brand, if you've got a strong brand and go, if this all turned around tomorrow, put yourself in that situation. The COVID's gone. Would people come back to work with you? Do you have a perfect example? Do you have a customer list? Do you have a way in your social media to reach everybody that you already had before this happened to afterwards? If you have and agree and have a core team that says we're ready to kick fill in the blank right after this is done, then go for the paycheck protection, because you're going to attract those employees and just pick up not 100% where you left off, but pick up at 50, 75% of where you left off. So my answer to that is get to the bank, do your projection, do your model, find a core team, and have commitments best you can with your key employees that when this turns around, they're ready. Then you can retire them right now.
Okay. Man, that's going in circles. My head's swimming on that, but you're finding the best ways to work around the system that's going to benefit you and your employees. It sounds like, best ways to work within the system.
Right.
So, all right. Well, I'm Brad Corbin, just joined too. And, we thank you guys all for joining, and you can always find these, again, in perpetuity on PMQ Facebook, also on Pizza TV YouTube channel. They'll be going up. We'll be having these, as far as I know, every day. 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, talking about a new topic and trying to answer questions that were unanswered from the day before. So tomorrow we're going to answer more questions. Now, I did want to ask you about that, because I know you're going to address some of those questions that some of the people asked yesterday. But as far as that, the payroll protection spreadsheet, you had mentioned that the first 5 people today that go in and enroll in that, you're going to give like the hands-on. I mean, you're still kind of working it out, from what I know.
You have to, right.
Right, but you're going to kind of walk these guys through it too. So
show, if you show my site, and then I'll show them where to go. Yeah, if 5 people could go up there and fill out the first radio button, which is for me, and just send me their basic information, I'll get that information and I'll reach out, and hopefully before next show, just go to the CPA there and then just go through the text. Yeah, there you go. Get one-on-one help. And you'll just fill out. There's about 8 questions. Just tells me a little bit about what you are, how big you are, and things like that. And then I will get back to you and work through this form. It's not to replace a CPA or anything. It's just to I can actually give you the form. I'll start it through with some basic numbers, and then I would encourage you to take it to your CPA or your accountant, and then start considering that PPP, which again, tomorrow, it doesn't go away. It's just that all the banks are on alert. If they're qualified and they're a lender, they actually can start accepting those applications, which are, go to that Paychecks Protection Program radio button there, Brian, and that application is right there on the application. There you go. So that right there is what you can fill in and have ready to take to the bank. With the 5 people, I could actually work with you through and kind of tentatively go through the form.
Well, and it looked like there was a lot of plug and play in that spreadsheet as well, to where you had some numbers, but they can insert their costs and employees and hours and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah, that sheet was purely just a sample I was playing with earlier today.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So what's next here, Mike?
I would do this. I'll send out I would go to the My COVID CPA, and I would fill out for for a few people that come in, and I'll work through that. I would briefly go through go to the SBA radio button there, and I would look at the EIDL, which is the advanced loan, which is that one. And I would go to the site and fill out that documentation. And this is, again, the $10,000. Again, you can do that now. Now, we're also looking for And right there, one person went through radio button number 2, applicants and individual operates sole proprietorship. A lot of restaurants, a lot of pizzerias are just sole props. They're not, they don't have to do the whole. So if you're actually sole proprietor without an entity, that's what you would check. Go down and make sure that all the radio buttons for review check all following. Those are the, you can read them. You do stuff above board. How's that?
Yes. Okay. That's making sure you're
right.
Pretty cool and you're not shady. So,
and then go to the next one. Then you just continue there. And then remember, I focus people down to, and these are for all the new listeners, basically down at the bottom there where it talks about the business activity.
Yeah, here we go.
If you highlight business activity, pick one. Eating and drinking probably is going to be a hot spot. Then it goes into detail. Pick one of those. And one of the comments and questions was yesterday was, is it your FICA score, business or personal? I could not, that was in a forum. I could not find anywhere from any of the sites, the main sites that we go to, that says it's checking your FICA score by doing this. So I did mine on Tuesday. I'm waiting for a response from anybody out there that we all did these. 3 days is tomorrow. So I'm hopeful to show you a result that I did or one of my clients did and see how this is working. We're expecting we'll get an email goes, you're approved for a certain dollar amount up to $10,000. But we need more documentation.
Okay.
I'll say that again. Every one of these is the banker, the SBA. We don't think this is just a send it in and you'll get the money. Please don't leave this thinking that's how this works.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let me jump back, see if there are any questions. Again, guys, get these questions in because these are going to be shorter sessions. They'll go as long as they need to, as long as some questions are coming in. But I'd like to say hi to Gino and Carlo Bertoli and Brad Corbin. I think I already said hi to Brad. Thank you guys for joining us. If you have any questions, I know, Gino, we were talking about some issues going on in Chicago. It sounds like a lot of my Chicago guys are having a little bit of trouble right now. So,
yep.
Want to make sure that you get your questions about how they can help. And Derek is from Chicago, so the questions he's asking are very relevant. Steve, I see you on here. Did you want to come in and ask Mike some questions? I know you have a lot of insights, stuff that I don't think of that maybe haven't been asked yet. He's going to unmute you. He's in there somewhere. He might jump in here in a second. So, all right.
How's that? Hey. There, I unmuted, right? Okay. I guess I should make myself visible.
It's true. We all know what you like.
Can you make me visible?
I cannot. There, I can.
Okay.
There you go. I have to start video.
Okay, start my video. Okay, I've got, did we answer the questions from yesterday?
No, we were getting to that. I wanted to see if
any
other questions are kind of on the unemployment stuff, everything that Mike was talking about right now.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure we answered those. And then we have these questions that Rick Heinem, our editor, had wanted to ask because we're doing a big cover story. We want to have this in the magazine. We want to have the essence of all these problems that we're solving. We want to document them and make them available in the print magazine coming out. So
okay, well, we had 20 minutes because I got another live webinar coming up here right after that with George Taylor talking about single units. So if we want to go through those, I know we were going to make the answers to the questions also available at pmq.com/coronavirus so that people can look at them.
So one of the questions that I have is just a basic one that you've answered in part through the microscopic answers, but is a holistic question. What benefits does the stimulus package or this set of benefits provide restaurant employees other than the fact that they can get paid? Is there anything for the employees themselves?
Well, and that's what we went through on the unemployment. So what that unemployment, the operator, the employer really needs to go on and find out how it impacts their state. If it impacts their state with the Fed, it is the unemployment amount that you would get based on their wages, plus another $600 per week. And they extended that out to 39 weeks. Okay. It's really coming down to the employer to take the responsibility right now, Steve, to look at that spreadsheet and go, how many do I unemploy versus how, and then communicate that in a positive manner to the employees. and go, we need to, reduction in force by 25%, and here's the ones that we're going to do. And that's because you've had a agreement or at least a meeting with the core team members to move forward. So there's a benefit to the employees. Now, they can also say, I can rehire you. So let's just say they did that and they had 25 employees and five were unemployed, and then they apply for the payroll protection, and the 20 that thought that they were going to also got unemployed. They can then rehire to get back to the 20 and qualify for that paycheck protection, because those 20 are the qualifier for a full-time equivalent at the time they applied. Sorry to be detailed, but this is it. It's everyone's different. Yeah.
Well, that's why you're here. And actually, I did want to.
Yeah. That's just the soundbite. That's just the soundbite I was looking for.
Okay. And Gino Rago did have a question as well, and this is something we were talking about yesterday. He says, if they're still open and an unemployee wants to not come to work anymore because of the virus, can they collect unemployment? If they don't feel comfortable working because they're scared.
Right.
Wow. We just heard that.
I know.
And there were, out of the three panelists, there was a different answer for each one.
I know.
But that's what this session, what we're doing. I'm going to take that and then scour them out. What's going to happen, Brian, is over the next, that's why we're going to be doing this daily and scour all the information, because there are little what if, and I'm going to try and get the root to the lead person at SB or so that says, here's what happened in that fact pattern.
Well, and then, I know there's a lot of repetition, and I'm trying to look at something while you're talking, so sometimes I'm missing some of the answers, but I am getting all these questions and I'm forwarding them to Mike. So maybe, and they are very specific to where you're at, location. I understand. So this is putting you on the spot, Mike, and we do appreciate you cutting through the weeds. So at this point, maybe Steve, did you have another one question or so?
No, but I'd like to hear the questions that you've got, because then people listening will know, oh, that was the question I was going to ask. But
well, we had some answers to questions that we had from yesterday that Mike stayed up all night researching. So
right.
I wanted to get to that.
Okay, good. Let's go.
All right.
Yeah, I'm done with my questions are more general and in need of sound bites, which we can get at any time. But right now, we're here for the people. So, people, you've got access.
So, do you want me to handle a couple? Someone asked, can you mix the EDL? And I'll send these to you. Borrowers may apply for different SBA loans. And I actually went and found, if you accept the EIDL loan, you subsequently qualify for the PPP, you have to refinance into both of them. That was the answer to that one. And again, I'll post these. If your business operating employees might get sick, can you cover with a paycheck protection? The amount forgiven, and that comes from the spreadsheet. That is a big question that you have to go through that calculation. And again, you can't go below 25% of the employees when you apply for the loan. And that's where that full-time equivalent comes in. So, and again, I've got an answer and I'll post this. Is the advance and the bridge loans contingent on the operator accepting a larger SBO location on the backside? No. In fact, what approved lenders are doing now is they're actually, if you have an existing SBA loan, they wrap you together. One of the operators yesterday is actually meeting with the bank tomorrow virtually, and they have existing SBA loans and applying for the paycheck protection, and they're going through because they've done this Excel spreadsheet because I helped them. The next one is, what if you have minimal employees and can you add the owner's salary? Yes. Then there was one, how do you tell if our bank is approved lender? On this sheet that I'll give everybody, there's actually a link to all 1800s in the country. So you'll be able to click on there real quick and see. Can you use this if your employees have been laid off already? If you apply for the PPP and rehire by June 30, 2020, you'll likely satisfy the FTE, that's the full-time equivalent, in the application that you represented for the loan. And Brian, I'll end on this and we can post it. When you sign the boxes for any of these loans, you're basically signing under penalty of perjury and representing. These loans there's not enough time to go back and approve and do like a normal SBA would do to go look at all the data. Fair? So these are really like representation applications. You're saying, I commit to do, I commit to do, I commit to do. Make sense?
Yeah. It's absolutely. You understand the rules, and again, under penalty of perjury, you're using it for what it's supposed to be used for.
That's right.
Gino wanted to ask Steve, you as well, Mike, what do you think is going to happen to the U.S. pizza guys, to us pizza guys in the future, the mom and pop places? I mean, do you think there's going to be it's going to be a rebound? Everything's kind of going to go back to normal? You think that some of them might be struggling after that?
I was just on. You want me to take it, Steve? I was just on the call.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll let Steve. But these were again some of the top people I could get on this last. In the industry, basically, they are encouraged, no different than they're doing in the oil industry and the independent oil operators, is to take an aggressive look at where you are, and if you have a brand and you just have the internal gut and go, this thing is not going to kick my tail, then you go after one of these loans, build a plan, and interview all your employees to find what else they could do in your organization, because there might be some people that want to do social media. Some will do intensive cleaning of the restaurant. They may they may already moving seating around for social distancing, anticipating what it's going to look like July 1. Those people are the ones that are going to really get aggressively after me and other people to figure out what's going on. Steve, you go on the industry.
Yeah, I think there's never been so much change in what period of time. This is like one of the great floods of history. And there's so much change that's going to happen right now. If we're on top of it and we aggressively grab this, there's just tons of ways, I believe, that we can build our audience, build our businesses. If you decide, maybe you didn't do takeout before, you can be doing that. Customers are looking for you now. Normally you have to advertise and shout. If you do something right, maybe it's just having employees that show up. But anyway, there's just incredible opportunities right now. The thing that I'm worried about is that so much of this is, I've always been concerned about the digital ordering and the fact that independents are smaller and have less influence in that area. So I just would like to really see independents unite in some marketing promotions. And I'd like to discuss that at some point about doing some independent marketing promotions like PMQ did back in 2005, where we could have one place where the consumer could directly interface with all the independents, like Pizza TV, for example, pizzatv.com, or pizzarewards.com. These are some websites that PMQ owns and would donate to the industry for this effort. But I'm thinking that with all the competition right now, with all these third-party aggregators, the independents are paying more than anybody else. The larger chains are getting deals, and the independents are making up for a lot of that. And as long as consumers know to go just to Grubhub or just to one of these third-party aggregators, they'll be in charge of the marketplace. If we create a website for the industry where all the independents are registered, I believe that this would create a competitive environment where independents would have a better chance at getting equilibrium pricing, where everyone would be paying more of the same for these outside services. And it could actually end up being a good thing for independents. Well, so that's my sermon. Yeah.
Well, and kind of on the heels of that, though, I mean, there are a lot of places that are bringing prices down and dealing with deals, and then these independents will eventually have. We're going to have a little more negotiation, pulling power in the future. What I think,
exactly.
though, what I'm seeing is that there's a lot of changes being made as far as people, as far as people actually making changes. Like you said, maybe they only did initially, maybe they only did carry out or delivery, or not carry out and dine in. Now they have to get delivery. What I would think, I think most of these people are going to keep these changes if they've adapted well enough. But
Right.
you're going to have the power after this point, because if you're using third parties, they're going to want to keep your business. So keep that in mind as a negotiating tactic.
I
Now,
mean,
if
they
want
could
to
be,
gouge you,
they,
get
right,
rid of them. So
right. If
that's
you,
what I'm thinking. But I mean, as far as
Okay.
like all the other stuff, that's far in the future on the website. We're going to have to develop that before we start preaching that right now. But I'm just saying, we're going to make changes. Don't think about going back on the changes that you're making. Incorporate it. Make it part of when we go back to normal. Keep it. If it's working, that's another arm of your business now. If you only did takeout and dine in, now you've got delivery or, you know, whatever you've added. That's my 2 cents. So,
well, my big point is that just do what you already do really well and let people know about your specialty. You're the best in one thing, and that's what you should be leading with. And with the government bridge that they're building, I believe that I think we shouldn't give up. You shouldn't close. That's the one thing you can't do. Your customers are depending on you. You're the fabric of the community. For yourself, for your customers, hang in there. That's what I would say.
All right. Well, I think that we're doing pretty well here. Thank you for all the information. Mike, do you have anything else that you're looking at saying that you wanted to get out to the masses? Oh, I'm sorry. Are you talking again, Steve? Your audio kept taking over the feed, so no.
Just give me a minute though. At some point in the future here,
I'll do it now.
Go ahead.
I'll
okay.
Well,
right. What I'd like to say is that I'm putting together a survey. I want to do a big survey of the industry and ascertain the level of confidence or panic or where we are in the industry right now in terms of what your biggest problems are. So I'm putting together that survey now, and we'll send it out. And I'd like people to respond. And if there's any questions that you think that should be on that survey, it will give us a better idea of where we are and what problems are the most important. Please email them to sg@pmq.com, and I'll consider adding these to our survey that'll be going out shortly.
All right, thank you, Steve. And I did. Carmelo did join us again, and I wanted to acknowledge his question. Carmelo, I believe we'd actually already answered that question. So go ahead and watch watch this again. But we answered a couple times for people in your similar situation. So if you want to just recheck it, I know you're watching these diligently. Just wanted to say thank you for everybody showing up. Mike, thank you so much for all the great information. There's one more thing you want to say, just one final message to give them right now?
Just real quick. Everyone's seen MASH 4077 if we're old like me. Now, that is where this is meatball surgery, and we just don't have a lot of answers. Sometimes you just need to act. So don't get paralyzed by all the information and because you get on the internet and it scares you. That's why I am scouring the internet to look for independent pizzeria information, and that's why we do this for 20 minutes a day. It's literally just to say, here's what you can look for that might be due today, tomorrow, in the real short term, and that's where we are. I appreciate you putting us on, and I'll go find some other information tonight.
All right, absolutely. Thank you so much. You can find all this information if you go to pmq.com/coronavirus, and also you can get all these applications and the forms at my COVID CPA. It keeps showing a different URL at the top. mycovidcpa.com. You're going to have all that. You can actually ask questions directly to Mike and get all the forms and information that you need. It's free enrollment. It's great for the industry. So please check that out. If there are any other questions, tune in 1 p.m. Central Standard Time from here to the foreseeable future, and Mike's going to be answering all those questions. I did want to let everybody know that I am getting ready to talk in about 20 minutes with George Taylor of the U.S. Pizza team. He's talking about a one-unit operation that is actually able to maintain sales actually a little bit up over the last year on average, but having to incorporate what Steve was even talking about, some of these digital online ordering platforms and third-party deliveries. So he's going to tell us how he's been able to kind of, I don't want to say thrive, but maintain. So if you guys want to tune in, it's going to be in about 20 minutes at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Mike, thank you so much for your time today and all the information. Steve, again, thank you for all the questions, and we'll make sure that we get out that survey and let everybody know, try to get our finger again on the pulse of the pizza industry. So thanks, everybody, for joining, And all your questions, feel free to email me more questions if you have them and if you want them addressed. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, just stay safe and stay strong.